but I've lost 50 pounds. So when I started, I was 265. I am now 213. My anxiety that I have to take like hydroxyzine for,
Wow.
I just take my regular meds.
Okay.
Even during all of this, I haven't had to take them. Since August, I haven't used any. I'm happy with my weight loss. Overall, I'm happy with my health, my cancer, all my screens, everything's coming back. Awesome.
That's
I just
so
had my
great.
first colonoscopy. They did find a polyp, but it wasn't cancerous. They said I don't have to come back for 3 years. The plan was every year a colonoscopy. In that regard, I am like phenomenal. Like I'm happy, and I'm happy with everything.
Great.
Even though I'm getting close to the 1 year mark and I haven't hit my goal, and I'm being kind to myself, saying it's okay. When I became a stay-at-home mom, I felt I had to be like do it all kitchen wonder. Like I had to be perfect. My house had to be spotless. Everything had, all the check marks had to be. And it took me a while to go, listen, who am I to be June Cleaver and be perfect? I'm not a TV show, you know, and teaching them that it is okay to cry and it is okay to be angry and it is okay not to do certain things because you just can't do it. And it's okay to let housework go and laundry. As girls, I feel like they need to know that. I don't know. Sometimes I think as a mom, for me, we put more pressure on ourselves. So I want them to know that it is okay to lean and to ask. I mean, it's taken me a while to get there, but I want to teach that to them, that you don't have to be perfect and it's okay. Thank you. Because if a year ago you would have said, hey, Michelle, during this thing, you're going to cut back on soda. I'd be like, no, that's all I drink is my diet soda. I used to bring it to work. I do not bring it to work with me anymore. It's only water. I do buy like True Lemon to put in my white water because I won't say I love water. But every time I think of my water, I go, Linda, cheers, because she's like, Michelle, water. But it's true. Like I used to have 2 cans of soda in my lunch bag. I don't bring any. So like certain things, like I'm on monk fruit now to sweeten things, not Splenda, and not, you know, it's just like certain things that I thought I would never be able to give up, I have. Especially Splenda, I'm off it totally. I said, Linda, I can't promise you I'm never not going to have a diet soda but to cut back the way I did, and I even buy the smaller cans now. Because it's important for me because I still have a young family that what's in the house, I want to make things good for them. But just to make the family choices, and Linda's like, it's possible. You still have to do this instead of this and try this instead of that. I made my own minestrone soup. I had never made my own. I've always made like a vegetable, but I was just like, I really love minestrone, and just Googled stuff and I kind of made it my own, especially with like being able to stop doing certain habits and even the junk eating. I wasn't, craving a lot of the same stuff at night. I would take like a tablespoon of Sunny butter, and that contented me because it was like a sweet and salty instead of the sugar stuff. But I know now that I have sugar in my system, now my body's like, oh, I've missed that. Yeah. So I have to go, okay, Michelle, let's reel it in. Now you don't want to go too far. So I'm constantly talking with myself. I mean, I always kind of have, but the good choices win more than the bad choices now, I would say. From the bottom of my heart, I am utterly grateful. I mean, and this is why I say, and you said I have a support, but that goes down to you. That goes down to Linda. That goes, to Dr. Labonte. Like, everybody is in my corner trying to get me where I want to be. We've worked on, boundaries and the willpower, and I do, and I won't lie, it's still in my head. And this is one of the reasons when Dr. Labonte said I was a candidate for the weight surgery. He said, it's not going to change my mind. It will fix my stomach. I'm not saying never, like if I can't get where I need to be and it's still like a concern, but it doesn't change my head. And that's where a lot of it stems from. It's not that, oh, you hit a year, I'm going to start taking you off. She's like, let's see where you want to get to. Let's see what our other options are. So that's when we set up a date. Because I check in with her regularly. Every week I send her my weight and blood pressure. And for the most part, I went down, maintained. And there were a couple of weeks I went up, and I knew why I went up. And there was a couple of weeks I'm like, ooh, I'm down and didn't know why. Or I was up and didn't know why. for the most part, I was very, very consistent. I need that accountability. So if I wasn't meeting with Linda, I still had to check in with Dr. Labonte. And if I had to send her a question, she was readily available. So, I mean, I just feel like I had 24/7 support between her and Linda. Even though on days we weren't meeting, that was phenomenal. I loved everything about the program. I love how Linda went with what I needed, pushed me where I needed, coddled me where I needed. For me, it's been all around fantastic. I can't say I would change something. I've just loved how it's all played out really from day one. Because I started with Linda before I even started the meds. My blood pressure tended to be sometimes a little bit on the higher end, which we were monitoring. So I would say like 132, maybe over 92. Then depending on when I took it, but for the most part, my blood pressures are in the 120s and 80s and sometimes lower. I have never been on anything for cholesterol or anything like that. So I've really been blessed. I mean, my liver did come back, showing it was fatty. Sometimes, I think a couple of times, my glucose might have been, but they didn't really consider me pre-diabetic. But I'm sure if I stayed the way I was staying, it was all going to come. I just turned 50 last year, and it does, as we all know, it doesn't get easier with age. And I could see before I could exercise and stuff would come off. Now I had to exercise, eat right, and it would come off. Now I'm like, all right, I really can't eat that. I got to exercise twice as hard just to get it off. So I've seen the changes over my life because since I probably, in my 20s, I've kind of struggled with my weight and how I can manage it. I mean, going back and looking at photos of myself, say in high school, I always thought I was bigger, but I was around a lot of friends who I would call twiglets. I was busty, but I look normal, but there's the society playing like, oh, you're big. For my daughter, she's tall, she's built like me. And it's just the way our bodies are shaped. Not everybody is gonna be a twiglet. And to know that that's okay. But for me, those are like the health things, just knowing that my blood pressure, even with all this stress, hasn't really been up. I never had to go on any meds for anything. I just take my multivitamin, my elderberries. Yeah, I get aches and pains. I'm a preschool teacher. I'm hustling and bustling. So yeah, I get up in the morning and I'm a little achy. I'm taking Tylenol and Advil as needed. But other than that, and my anxiety meds, I take a multivitamin. I'm taking a vitamin D. That's it. I'm very lucky. And this program helped me not get worse, but to actually get better.